Lots to talk today about a Colorado mom who got a long prison sentence for holding sex parties with teenage boys. This is just the latest in a long line of stories about older women, sleeping with minor boys. Allison Camerata has today's chapter in this story.
Hey, John. 41-year-old Sylvia Johnson admitted to having sex with two of her son's teenage friends and giving them drugs and alcohol. But here's what makes this story different. This week, she got a 30-year prison sentence. That's a much harsher penalty than other women have received recently for the same crimes. Is this an isolated case, or are attitudes about statutory rape of teenage boys changing? Let's bring in our experts, former Texas prosecutor Nelda Luce-Blair and defense attorney Geoffrey Nathan. Thanks for being here. Nelda, there seems to be a tendency to see this as sort of a victimless crime. You know, you hear people saying, hey, what 15-year-old boy wouldn't want to have sex with an attractive older woman? Does that attitude account for female offenders getting much lighter sentences, and is this 30-year sentence unusually harsh?
Sometimes it may account for that, but it is definitely not true. You know, there also may be young girls that willingly enter into relationships, but it is still a crime to have sex with a minor. And this woman lured these young boys with marijuana, methamphetamines, alcohol, just like a person would have lured a young woman over the internet or lured a child into his car with candy. It's no different. And that she deserves absolutely every year she got from this sentence. No question in my mind.
And so, Geoffrey, what if the genders had been reversed? What if a father was guilty of having sex with his daughter's underage friends? Would he have gotten something like a 30-year sentence? Is that the standard?
Oh, I think that's the standard for sure. The 30-year sentence would apply. The issue is that the male would serve a lot longer time of the 30 years. I think this particular mom is going to be paroled and out on the street pretty soon.
That's interesting. So you're saying that female sex offenders get they may even get strong sentences, but they serve less time. That's common.
I think that's just about nationally true, because there's some empathy in the system amongst the parole boards, and then while they're incarcerated, they earn time on a much more rapid basis than most male inmates can. So the system isn't necessarily fair, and that 30-year sentence really isn't going to be 30 years, Allison, most respectfully.
And listen to this. You know, last month, a woman, you may remember this story, Beth Geisel, she was a Catholic school teacher. She pleaded guilty to the statutory rape of a 16-year-old boy. She got a 6-month sentence. So, Nelda, why such wild discrepancies in sentencing women?
Well,
often it has to do with...
Go ahead, Nelda.
Often it has to do with the demeanor of the person themselves, with whether or not they really have had some type of situation that caused that. Or in the case of the lady we're talking about now, Sylvia, she says she had a mental illness, but, you know, the judge didn't buy it in this case. So a lot of it just depends on her demeanor, why she did it. In her case, she said she wanted to be cool. She thought it made her feel one of the group. She was despicable. I would have given her the same sentence.
So, Geoffrey, are we seeing more of these older women, teenage boys, sex offenses, or are they just grabbing more headlines?
Well, I think it's possibly both. I don't think that governments have properly controlled the widespread pornography that's on the internet. The courts have let it go as well. I'd like to see some clamping down on that, but I think that the public focus is both correct and should be applied across the board. However, 30 years does not rehabilitate. The part of jail is supposed to punish and rehabilitate a defendant. And to say you're going to lock up somebody for 30 years is to say that for one bad, aberrant act or spree, there's no rehabilitation. We're just going to lock them away and throw away the key. That's not American.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. Nelda Luce-Blair, Geoffrey Nathan, thanks for joining us.